Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another broadcast of the Lawrence Report. Tonight's broadcast, we will be discussing episode 3 of Found. Now, this episode right here is about an elderly gay man by the name of Reggie. Reggie happens to be widowed, and he has unfortunately been missing for quite some time, right? There was a doorman that has noticed that Reggie has been gone for a long time. So the doorman decides to reach out to Gabby and her team, and they, assess the situation. The doorman lets Gabby and the team know that Reggie does have a niece. That is, I think, his only family member that may be alive. The niece is named Hollis. So they get a chance to talk to Hollis to figure out what's going on, and she says she hasn't really noticed that he's been gone. She said that they've been texting, but we soon find out that the person that she was texting was not indeed Reggie. It actually was Reggie's kidnapper. Also, in the early beginning of this episode, we see Gabby being mentally tormented basically by Sir. And by that, I mean, in previous episodes, I mentioned how Sir has captured Gabby and Lacey when they was little girls, right? And on my second episode, I mentioned how Sir, he asked Gabby, like, hey, do you want me to bring somebody to you since you claim that you're lonely and things of that nature? And unfortunately, he does end up bringing Lacey. Like on the last episode, he ended up bringing Lacey. He captured her basically to give Gabby a friend to play with, unfortunately. And in her mind, she really can't remember all the details because keep in mind, she was a little girl. So the details are kind of sketchy, right? But we'll get back to Gabby and Sir situation a little bit later in the episode. Also, we see in this episode right here, Margaret. The Margaret situation with her son is very sad. Her son is missing for quite some time. I think 13 years, I believe. And her daughter shows up. We also find out that Margaret has other kids. So her daughter, she shows up to Gabby's job, and she's like, "Mom, I need you to sign these papers." I meant to say Margaret's daughter. I say Gabby's daughter. Margaret's daughter shows up to the precinct, and she said, "I need you to sign these papers. I want to be emancipated." So she wants to be on her own, but she also mentioned that this will help her out when it comes to her financial aid. Of course, fortunately for Margaret, she spent all those years looking for her son because her son has also been lost as well. He hasn't been found, and with the situation with Margaret, the regret and the guilt, has unfortunately sunk in. She hasn't been paying attention to the other children. Her main focus has been on, you know, finding her son and doing everything she can to do that. So that was very, very sad to witness. A lot of pain, a lot of emotion, especially in that scene right there. And also going back to Hollis, right? So a lot of times whenever you're in the vision or you're in the care of a younger person, a lot of times a younger person or young people, they sometimes take advantage of the elderly, right? So the team, Gabby and the team, they thought that may have been a situation, with Hollis, who happens to be the niece of Reggie. They want to know, like, are you, is it you? Like, are you swindling your own uncle out of money? And unfortunately, we find out that it wasn't her. But we did end up finding some surveillance footage of Reggie leaving the bank. And when he left the bank, he kind of, you know, he was kind of angry, about, some stuff that went down at the bank. So Gabby and her team, they go down to the bank and they meet a banker by the name of Julian. Julian says that he's a big fan of Gabby. Like, he seen her on TV, he's seen her action and things of that nature right there. And he's acting strange, and they kind of get the sense early that it could be potentially him. 'Cause like I said, there was a video of Reggie, being kind of upset with the banker who was Julian. So they put the pieces together and they do find out that it was Julian who was actually swindling Reggie out of his own money. I think it was roughly, I think it was $5,000. It was like that big of amount of withdrawals, right? So they end up tracking it down, and they do end up finding Reggie. He's tied up in the bathroom, and it was Julian. He was the prime suspect in this case right here. But also, there's a little bit of drama between Lacey and Gabby. As I mentioned earlier about, the situation with Sir. Gabby, memory comes back to her, and she realizes that she never said that she wanted a friend. Sir, he went to go do that on his own. And with that right there, that was, unfortunately the sad case that, he decided to go capture this little girl and do that on his own. So, Gabby lets him know that, you're no longer going to have any power over me. No longer are you going to control the narrative. I'm calling the shots now. I'm going to be calling the shots. And of course, a very crucial detail that I must mention about Margaret. As I said, Margaret, her son has been missing for quite some time. And he disappeared at a bus station. They showed that he was at a bus station, and they believe that's where he went at. So Margaret, these last 15 years of her life, she has been going to this bus station, hoping to see her son. Maybe she'll recognize him. But yeah, 15 years of doing that is a long time, hoping to see your son. And her daughter actually joins her because, her daughter finds out that, Mom, you really been doing this? You've really been going to this bus station all these years hoping to find our brother. And very emotional episode. Margaret, she played this role to the core. Like I said, one of my favorite key characters on the show, without a doubt. Um, so if you haven't been watching this show, you guys have got to watch it. It's top notch. Like I said, it's a mix of CSI meets Scandal, all rolled in together. So please, please, please make sure y'all are checking this show out. It is so amazing, so amazing. One thing I have noticed that on the last 3 episodes, they always find their missing person. The first episode, it was a senator, his little girl. The second episode, they found another person. It was a missing sex worker. And then the third episode, they found this elderly man, right? So everything is always coming to a happy ending. But at some point in time, I'm wondering as the season continues to progress, are we going to get an episode in which they don't come to a happy ending to a point where they don't end up finding the missing person? I think it's going to happen soon. I don't know when. I don't know what episode. Because unfortunately, every missing person, it's not always a happy ending. But, we are, for lack of better terms, I think we are going to see that eventually soon where it's not going to be a happy ending. But I'll be watching. I hope you'll be watching too. If you like what you saw on the channel today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. And as always, thank you for tuning in to The Lawrence Report.